Hey, so last time I said that my next video is going to be about something more happy and nice and fluffy. So I decided to go with the benign topic of knitting. Now my personal story with knitting is that it goes like this. I was taught to knit by my grandmother, and it was the basic pattern and how to hold the crocheting hook and how to hold the thread and stuff like that. And I was taught how to do it when I was maybe about 11 or something. But I didn't. I had the knowledge, but I didn't use it until I was in my 20s. Then I started to knit, and first I was using the same basic pattern, or like I learned a couple more and I was combining them. So I mostly focused on the colors. I also would combine some colors and make a nice job. And the shape of the thing, so I could design something that looks interesting, and that's how it was. Then I moved to more complicated patterns, more complicated things. Um, what I like, what I personally like about knitting is that I'm a bit of a how you call, information junkie. So if uh, like I really like to have uh, like most channels occupied. So I like to listen to something and watch something and do something with my hands at the same time. And knitting is really cool in this matter because I can totally do it. I can watch something like a movie and knit while doing that. Um, so it really helps, uh, to satisfy my brain. Um, so I also think that knitting is pretty cool because, well, you just have these two things, right? So you have the hook and you have a thread, which is in this tight little ball here. So the thread is just the fucking line. There is nothing there. It's just a thread, and this is just like a stick, which is like a little thing on the top. But you can from these two things you can create something really complicated and beautiful, and also cats like it. Um, what I also like about knitting is that it's pretty complicated. It's sort of like engineering because, um, well, if you're doing clothing, which I do, or actually anything else apart from napkins or something, um, you have to design several things. First, you have to choose the yarn. You have to choose the thread, or like the material you're using. You have to think about it. You have to calculate if like this material will hold the length, for example, of the piece I'm planning, or will it move freely, or will it hold, like something like that. So after you've chosen the yarn, you have to design the thing you're doing, and there are like two parts to it. You have to design it functionally, so it should fit your body or the body of a person you're knitting for. And it has to have all the proper details there and stuff like that, and it also should look nice. So it's like engineering and designing job at the same time, and then you also get to do the labor part. It's actually doing it as neatly as you can, as nicely as you can, uh, like not losing the pattern. And this is like the huge thing about knitting. I really respect knitting for that, because it's a pretty complicated thing. If you're not doing napkins, it's a very complicated thing. which is largely not appreciated. Um, and then yeah, the part I really like love the most is the patterns, and patterns are crazy. They're not a very like obvious for human mind thing, apart from those several basic ones, which are like not really used. Like you use them for some smaller details in the whole piece, just you know, to finish it. But the patterns that are in use, like that make the like the drawing there, the uh, that have a certain look, that make the thing what it is. They're very complicated, and I think it's like I know there are people who design them, and for me it's like an insane thing because again I said it's not a very obvious thing to imagine, uh, because yeah it's just like a line of thread and a stick, and you have to understand how to move your stick and like how to twist the thread so around the hook and around another thread so it will hold and it also have a nice shape and stuff like that, like that. And uh, yeah, so designing the patterns is like those people are like they're fucking gods really. Like I don't know how they do it, but even with already existing patterns, the more complicated ones that have like a structure, um, it's a it was a little bit of a surprise for me. I didn't expect it when I started to use them, but I understand. Like I understood that there was some like geometry in them, some math, because when you really have to account for a direction you're knitting into. For example, if you're doing like the left part and the right part of something, like say a dress, and you want the patterns to meet, like you want to go from the sides to the center, not all patterns will do that. They will look differently, or they will like mix, or they will like go lower and higher up, and sometimes you have to knit backwards to get the pattern right, like symmetrical, and it's fucking hard. It's so complicated to knit backwards, uh, and it's very like for me it's very enjoyable to discover this hidden geometry inside knitting patterns, uh, because it's not like if you look at the pattern it's not obvious until you start doing that. So yeah, I have been knitting for I don't know, a lot of years now, and I did a lot of things, and this is, I guess, the only downside to knitting. It's that you only need so many things. Uh, like you can do the napkins, and like some people need paintings, but for me it's just the places for dust to land on. Uh, and I mostly do clothing, or I know some people do jewelry, but that's not really my thing. So I do clothing, and sometimes, like at some point, you think, okay, that's fucking enough. Like I have enough. All my friends have enough of it. Like all my relatives have enough of it. All friends of my relatives have enough of my sweaters. So that's like the only thing that is not awesome about knitting, or actually like anything else you can do with your hands. Like I cannot knit a car or a piece of furniture or an animal or a country. I would love to knit a country. I would knit myself a nice little country, but sadly I can't. I can only knit stuff, and well, stuff, at some point in your life you think, yeah, okay, this is enough stuff for me. So at this point, I have like at least 5 dresses and several sweaters and tops. Uh, and yeah, the one I'm really proud of, it's the coat. I needed myself a coat, which is a little bit unusual. People don't need coats much. What I did, because I thought, okay, if I don't succeed, if I don't like the result, I can always undo it, which is another cool thing about knitting. You can always undo anything you created, and it will come back to this. It will revert to its original state. Anything you did, doesn't matter how crazy complicated the piece you created is, you can always undo it. So I thought, okay, I will do it, and I will watch my TV series and knit and knit and knit. And if I don't like the result, I will just undo it, use the yarn for something else. But I really enjoyed the result. I had to go with the cord to a person who can sew, because I cannot sew. And they did the inner part for me, like from the cloth. So it became even more warmer than it was, and it's like a proper coat now with 2 layers, like the outer layer which is knitted and the inner layer which is a cloth. And it's really cool because it's not a sweat bag. It's like it's breathing, because like the pattern lets some air inside, and it's very enjoyable to be in it. But it also not cold, and I feel very very warm when I wear it. Because again, yeah, like if the wind blows the pattern and the inner part, it kind of stops it. So it's like the most enjoyable coat I ever had. But it's pretty huge, so I'm not going to show it, even though I did a really amazing job there. I'm going to show you a sweater, and it's here. A sweater. Yeah, a sweater is here. It's a sweater. And it's not, it's not very good on camera because it's kind of long for the screen, and I'm too close to the camera. But anyway, I really like what I did here, because it's a very neat job. I don't always knit this neatly, but this time I did, and I really like the neckline here, and it has sleeves, and sleeves are like the worst enemy enemy of a person who knits, because they're very complicated to design, they're very complicated to fit on the shoulder, like so that you will have the free movement there, and so that also they should look nice. So I think it's a very good job. I did a very good job on the sleeve. It's very accurate, no annoying details, nothing there. It's just very nice sleeve, and it's a generally nice sweater. And I also like the pattern here, so I will show you the pattern. Yeah, it's the pattern. So it's not a very complicated one, it's like in the middle somewhere, and it's all twisted. It's like the twisted pattern. You have to twist the hook around the already existing patterns, and it's not tough, but still it looks pretty nice because of this twisted nature of it. And I like the colors, I like the yarn, and I like this sweater, and I'm very proud I did it. Now, yeah, to wrap it up, the message of this video is that knitting is cool, it's enjoyable, and you should knit too. See you.